Gonna do a little update here. Could do some work on the Jeep today. Figured I'd show you what I'm up to. Getting prepared for Autorama in Sacramento this weekend, and we got some problems. This is one of the new doors I put on, and it's already broke and covered in bird poop for some reason. But we'll wash that off. But the real issues I'm having are, so I beefed up this door, brand new. Did a bunch of welding and added a steel plate right here and kind of made it look halfway decent. It's a lot stronger because this was a weak point. I kept breaking my door right here, snapping it. So it's all strong now, but not 30 minutes into playing the thing, broke everything out here. So a new weak point, and I don't really know what to do. I don't have welder access right now, but you can see the outer door skin broke away from a little brace here, and out here it's just flopping around. Doesn't have anything supporting it. What's supposed to really support it is the strip. It's a trim piece that snaps on. You can see it's got a little groove here. And disassembling the doors, these were hard to get off. They're from the factory like that. And apparently getting them back on, they just don't go back on the same, and they don't really provide that strength they did. If you look at my other door over there, that's still the original. It's pretty strong right here because that really actually strengthens this whole section, and it didn't allow it to break away right here. So since it's not really sticking on very good, I decided I'm going to do some JB weld to see how long I can get this door to limp through. The issue is if this outer door skin's flapping, it's touching the window, and I can't keep my window seals on. And I want to at least try to get that to stick. And I think it would work for the most part if everything was just stuck good and wasn't popping off, because this strip provides some rigidity, and I think if it had some good JB weld in it, it would kind of bond everything back together similar to what stock was. And if it doesn't work, well, I'm learning lessons. I'm kind of almost thinking that reinforcing the door isn't helping much. The stock doors weren't as strong, but it was at least allowing some flex to happen. And I think it actually needs a little bit in order not to break the door in other places. And for some reason, the stereo isn't quite as loud to me without the flex. Like the lows kind of go away because it's like too rigid, too stiff. So I might have to just get into the habit of collecting up doors, putting them on completely stock, and just shooting them with a quick coat of paint. I shot this with the rattle can, and you can tell it didn't come out perfect, but I mean, that was just paint matching. They weren't quite perfect on it. Next time I go down there, I'll show them and say, hey, look, this is what it did. But at any rate, you can see the hood and stuff. The car does need repainted. So once I can settle down onto a color, I keep the color code, and then always could get doors redone to match it. Once I paint the car, or wrap the car, maybe we got options. So I mean, I'm not too concerned, but I just need to figure out how to keep this door together. So my goal is today, I think I have to do this in 2 parts, but you see I can spread that open. Thinking if I can clean that out really good with a Dremel or some sandpaper and get the raw metal showing on each side there, I can fill that whole thing with JB weld and stick it together, some vice grip, let it hold for a few days, and then go ahead and JB weld the strip onto the whole thing, and just hope it all kind of just stays put, because I think that's the only problem. You can see this was able to move so much that it's opening a crack up there at front. I just don't want that to propagate, so I might tap a little hole in it so it will stop, and then just JB weld the shit out of this and mask it off real good. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I'm going to switch back to stock door, because this welded door is already giving me a bunch of trouble with what classes I am eligible for now in competition, because it's modified. And I'm just thinking, you know what, the stock doors lasted longer than this, so to heck with it. Anyway, got some scratching going on here. Wonder what all that was. Anywho, let's get on with it. I figured if I'll show you some of this. Might be boring to some. I've already kind of gone on for a little while, but I'm just explaining my situation, and these are just some of the common things you get being a bass head. I will apologize in advance. It's a little windy out here, so if you're, you know, getting some background noise, it was either that or not show you guys a video. So I'm gonna get on with it. I'm gonna try to clean this out, get some JB Weld in there, and then come back in a day or two, put the piece on. Today's Thursday. I need to have this thing up and playing by Saturday night. I had no test time with it really because it's broke. So hopefully it just does what it does at the show, and we'll see. Because we had the subs out the other day, had to repair some stuff, and I need to clean the car and do some cleanup. So this video will just be like, hey, I'm prepping for Autorama, and you'll get to see it. So I'll add that subscribers are coming in like crazy. The videos, it's cool. I'm really appreciating it. So I noticed that I got a lot of positive feedback on some of the longer videos I post. So I'm not going to be so conscientious about making it short, maybe. But I am kind of entering into monetizing. Now I have enough YouTube traffic going on. I might try to start making a little money off of it. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I know a lot of people are thinking I'm dumb for not even trying. I'm like, well, I hate putting video ads, but maybe we'll give it a shot. I mean, a lot of people suggested it, so it's not like it's a lot of money. It takes a while. I haven't really made anything, so I'll start doing longer videos, but those might have little commercials in them just based on the monetizing thing. But anyway, let's get some work done. I'm going to go ahead and just not worry about it being too long of a video. And if you want to watch, you can watch. If you don't, then there's other things to watch. Anyway, we can get started here. Alright, so again, I apologize for the wind if you're getting any of that right now. I'm just out here in some work clothes, so I'll probably look a little scraggly. So does the Jeep because it's covered in bird crap. But I'm going to go ahead and try to clean this out. I do have to probably clean the whole thing, so probably play with the Dremel and some sandpaper. Good old Harbor Freight Dremel here. So doing this, I was just thinking I probably should get some safety glasses. I know you guys are going to hound on me. And I'm trying not to breathe the dust either. Just trying to set a good example, so I got the glasses. So this is working fairly good, actually. Should work pretty good. It's just a matter of not nicking my window. Might be a good idea to actually put a little tape on it or something. So I got some masking tape. Let's try to protect what I did here. Alright, so I've cleaned it out pretty good. I've gotten this little tack to line up just where it used to be. So I think now if I go ahead and just fill that whole section and squeeze it down with some JB Weld, it should hopefully stay. We'll see what it does. And I also cleaned this whole strip all the way along so I can get my trims back on, and hopefully they'll be able to like stiffen this up a bit. So I guess I'll mix some up and put it in there. It's kind of it was never designed for this, but here we are. Alright, so we've put it back in. You can't really see what I can see, but I put these little needles in here just to hold it together. I didn't go too tight on them because I didn't want to like squeeze out all the JB Weld. But hopefully you can kind of remember what we were looking at earlier. Now it's stuck together. So that's that tack hole right there. So I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. We're gonna let that set for a day or two, and then we'll actually put on the strip. And we'll butter it up a lot. Put a lot of that stuff on there, just the whole thing. Try to make it just one big piece. These I kind of tacked on with a little bit of it too. And we'll just hope for the best. But we're gonna let this sit for a while. Guess I have to leave the window down until I'm confident with it. The stuff seems to take a little longer than the package says to set up. Probably because it's cold out. I'm really hoping it gets done by midday tomorrow or so. Or at least is enough that I can continue working on this part. So we'll just hope for the best. Don't want the door to break any more than it has to. But we're gonna go ahead and leave that alone for the rest of today. Let it set up. As far as Autorama goes, that's this weekend, like I was saying earlier. Sacramento, California. Hopefully you're watching before that. Today is the 15th, February 15th. So here's back. Guess I'll use the rest of my day to kind of clean this up a little bit and other little things. We just got little things rolling around back here, so I'm gonna probably wipe it down, get some zip ties, clean up a few things. There's not much I can do. I plan on like actually pulling a lot of this stuff out and doing a different amp rack. And I want to run some new wire from the front to rear, because now we got the alternators put on. The CCA isn't cutting it. For you people who don't know, this Jeep is all CCA wire. There's no OFC in here. And I did it because it's cheap. I ran enough of it that it works, but I feel like now I have some amperage under the hood here. Might be time to actually swap out. So you can see it's all CCA. And it's getting old. I mean, I'm not going to say CCA is the best, but I'm not going to bash on it either. Okay, we're open. It's been a lot of years with this same wire in here. Probably about 3 now. And I do expect there to be some corrosion on it. I'm sure there is. I think you can see the difference. This is an OFC piece that I added for the alternators just recently. And this is a CCA that's been in here for like 3 years. And you can see it's kind of corroded where it was exposed. But as soon as you peel it back, it looks okay. So hopefully the wire's still good. But I think either way, it's going to be probably about time to swap those out and actually do some real OFC. Now that we got some big amperage going, and I'm trying to get the most out of it. But then, like I said, CCA has done its job, and I like to brag a little bit. You know, when people bash on the wire, I show them my scores. So anyway, that's kind of the rundown on that. So basically these 3 runs run through the firewall, and they go through the cab, and I have a little like PVC pipe spray foamed inside the wall on the side, and I run them all through right there. Kind of a pain to pull it all apart, but they are accessible. It's like a 2-person job. You gotta have someone in the back of the car like feeding the wire in, and then you gotta pull it through beside the wall. But there's that, and then I have some grounds running underneath the truck that definitely need to be replaced because they've been just out in the weather, and they too are CCA. So let's see here. One of them is original. So these are my grounds. One of them's red because I borrowed it. It's an old CCA wire from my first system in here with 0 gauge. It's New Concepts CCA, very old, and it runs front to back. And I think this one runs front to back. And then this one, well, one of these runs right to the frame, right over here somewhere. Yeah, they need to replace. You can see the car doesn't really have any rust going on. I mean, it's got surface rust from the leaves touching each other. You wash the car and it kind of bleeds out. And then there's some on my exhaust pipe here. But underneath the car is actually in very decent shape, considering it's old and what it is as a Jeep. Focus already. You can see it's pretty damn clean. The frame's in good shape. You know. Some stuff stuck to that. But yeah, nothing's in bad shape. It does need a little cleaning. But just a little safety inspection before a show is always a good idea. I always like to check everything. You can see that ground is probably ready to be redone. I'm sure it is. So we'll get it through the show. I gotta save up a little bit to do the new wiring. I'm estimating about $400 or $500 worth of OFC zero gauge to do this. So yeah, you know, save up for things. But you can see these are just my grounds, so I'm not really worried about them running next to the exhaust. It doesn't look like it's ever done anything. Shit, I've spray painted on these and everything. These have been here for a while. And then they run up that way. But you can see there's no rust on this. I mean, nothing's in bad shape. It's all really good shape. This is exhaust pipe. But it's not a big deal. We got a little bit of a leak up there. But what are you gonna expect? This truck's got a lot of time and miles on it. I'm just kind of showing you guys the ins and out of the Jeep. We'll go over here since everybody was asking about the alternator. This is the stock replacement. This is a JS alternator, 240 amp. It uses the factory wire harness here. So I just had to splice in the new plug. And then this wire just goes through 12 volts, so it just real simple install. Had to make a little notch on the frame here. It's kind of ugly. I probably should paint that to avoid rust. But the belt lines up fairly decent. It's not perfect, but I haven't had any issues. Eventually I'll swap out for electric fins. But mostly all you're seeing under here is just a little bit of mud, because this truck has seen mud. There's a little bit of a leak. But I mean, what do your cars look like? I mean, I think they all look like this for the most part. Yeah, so anywho, sounds like I have a small exhaust leak sometimes, so I might have to get that addressed. But really, as much as I do with this vehicle, it never really has any big issues. I mean, look at that belt wrap. Heck yeah. This truck has done really good for what it is. Cannot complain whatsoever. It's never left me stranded anywhere. So that's that. So I'm gonna go back here, probably run some zip ties, do a little cleaning, kind of organize, because my wires are kind of not up where they're supposed to be. But gosh, doesn't that look cool? I want to do a different amp rack actually though. So when I redo the wiring, I got to pull out these side trims so I can actually pull the wires through to the back. And at that point, I can pull all the batteries, check them all, make sure they're all charging, get some real bus bars. I'm gonna talk to the guy getting those, so they can actually like run a bunch of runs up into the fuse block and more grounds, etc. Then these 3.5Ks, I don't think I'm gonna sit them like this anymore, stacked up, because I want to get more amps. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do them upright in 3 rows, so I can stack them out twice, so I'll have 6, and then put the 4 channels out front with the fuse holder. So kind of like change it up, make a different amp rack. I don't know when I'm going to get the other 3 amps, but you know, I can always prepare. The fuse holder's ready for it, you know, because we got just as many open spots as we have used. So it's going to be just right for 6 amps, you know, with all the dual inputs. This is all CCA also. I might not swap this out for OFC quite yet until I do the amps, because they're short runs, but At least the front and rear runs need to be swapped out. And then do something with some LED lights. I need to like clean up the wiring. I mean, there's always things to do. But I want to get it kind of ready for the weekend. Do my safety inspections, you know, check my brakes, you know, all the just the things you gotta do on a car, especially if it's a little heavier than a regular car. And we'll hope that door holds up. But anyway, that's a little video, kind of what I'm playing with the Jeep today. Hope you come out and check it out this weekend. I'll be at the it'll be a night show in Sacramento. It's listed on Turn Pro under DB Drag. I'll be out there probably demoing for a few hours, and then Sunday I will be at Autorama. They are limiting our demos, so if you want one, make sure you're around when we can. We're only allowed a few minutes every hour, which is kind of sad, but still gonna go and compete. Anyway, so that's a little video. I don't know if you found that interesting or not, but if you did, make sure you like it, subscribe, check out the website, and appreciate it. So make some noise this weekend.